In today's video, we're going to discuss and review the brand new Ultimate Wolfman figure from Neca. Welcome to the Swearwolves. I'm Bret. If you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you for coming back. And if you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy this sort of content, please consider clicking both the subscribe button as well as that notification bell below. We are the Swearwolves, a couple of horror fans and collectors who review anything and everything we get that is horror related, from action figures and toys to soundtracks, video games, various collectibles, you name it. Today, we're talking about this Ultimate Wolfman figure from Neca. Now, I'd been searching for this figure for a while. Whenever I go to the store, I always stop by to see if they have anything new, and usually in my area, they don't have anything. But today, I just got lucky, and there he was, just sitting there, waiting for me to purchase him. So I did, brought it home, now doing a review on him. The Wolfman, 1941 Universal horror film, classic film starring Lon Chaney Jr. On the box here it says Lon Chaney, but it was Lon Chaney Jr. Claude Rains, who also played the Invisible Man, and Bela Lugosi played Dracula. They're all in this film. Great film. Highly recommend you go out and see it. And this right here, the cover art, is a replication of the 1941 movie poster. Got the Wolfman right here. He's kind of glossy, and then it says the Wolfman, which is glossy. And then you have a matte finish for everything else, which I think really looks good. Side of the box just says the Wolfman, and then of course there's a picture of the figure right there. And then on the back, the Wolfman, and we got various different poses of the figure. No write-up about the figure or anything like that, but at the bottom it does say, includes 3 heads, 5 hands, cane, bear trap, interchangeable feet, and stand. And then on the other side, we got another picture of the figure, and it says the Wolfman. As with all Ultimate figures from Neca, the box opens up to reveal the figure inside, and there we go. We got the figure right there. We'll talk about that when we open them up. And then on the left, we got a nice picture as in its Wolfman form in action. So why don't we go ahead and open the figure up and give it a proper review. All right, I got the figure open. Before we get to the figure itself, let's go ahead and talk about these accessories. Now, we did get a few accessories here, so I just want to briefly go through those. One thing that we got that we usually don't get is this figure stand. It's just a flat piece of round plastic with a peg hole in it to secure his foot in, and we'll get to why in a second. Now, I do have the figure on a stand that I use for all my figures, but you could definitely use this, and we'll talk about that more when we get to the figure itself. We got a couple of different feet. Now, these are like the human feet, not the Wolfman feet, the monster feet. So this is his left foot. This is his right foot. Those are pretty good. They're just feet, if you're into that sort of thing. Then we got a couple of alternate hands. Now, these are, again, the human hands. This one is kind of like a grabbing for something, and this one would be holding probably the cane that also came with this. And then there's a third one that is a right hand. So this one was a left hand, this is a right hand, and then this is a right hand that's open. So in his human form, you'd put, these different hands on and the feet, and then of course the Larry Talbot head, and you'd have the human version of the character. Unfortunately, there's no shoes. I thought, it'd be nice if maybe they had shoes or feet that had shoes on them, because, then you could post 2 different figures, right? The Larry Talbot figure and then the Wolfman figure, but that didn't happen. Also comes with this bear trap. I mean, it doesn't work, but it does close. It's not gonna snap or anything like that. Good detail on this. Kind of got that brushed metal look, or that old used metal look, I should say. Next, we got a cane. Now, this is Larry Talbot's cane from the film, and it's got the great detail on the cane handle here. There's a person who sells replica versions of this cane handle, and I thought, for like 2 seconds, I thought, wow, that would be cool to have. And then I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with a cane? Walk around with a cane like a jackass? That's pretty cool looking. I like the look of that. And then we got alternate heads here. Here's one alternate head of the Wolfman sculpt. And he just kind of has his mouth open, got those blue eyes, and then of course the fur all around his face. Looks really good. And these do have the neck. They're not just the head, it's the head and neck that pops off. And then this of course is Larry Talbot's sculpt of Lon Chaney Jr. This is a good likeness of Lon Chaney Jr. as well. I think they did a really good job with this likeness, and I think the figure looks really good. You can see all the different aspects of the sculpt right there. Before we get to the details on the figure, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. The head does move left and right and up and down, and it just came off. So it wasn't on that tight. There we go. It's on now. But if you bend it too far forward, it will pop right off that ball joint. The head does move left and right and up and from side to side a little bit, but if you want to go down, it's not going to go down too far. Articulation in the shoulders on a ball joint moves out and then up and back. Elbow, we got one elbow joint there, and that bends. Hands, of course, they rotate and they have a hinge at the wrist. The waist turns, and then the hips go out and then back and forth. Knees have a joint that bends, and then the feet have, you can bend them kind of at the high ankle. This is where you would replace the foot, and then we have a hinge joint at the foot itself. All right, let's talk about the details of the figure. Now this head sculpt, I like this probably better than this head sculpt for the figure. I think this is more reminiscent of what I remember the Wolfman looking like. I mean, this looks like the Wolfman, but this is like the classic look of the Wolfman, and you can see all the detail in there, and they did a really good job with this likeness. I can't get over that. It looks really good. The hair detail on the side, on the top, is nicely coiffed pompadour, and then of course his neck is all hairy too. The shirt is soft rubber right here on the torso, and then it goes into hard rubber there on the sleeves. And then we have the hands, which are the Wolfman hands, and these hands look pretty good. You can see the detail on the hands there, the claws and the fingernails, and then the fur on the hands, and then here's the palm. So just a good job with the hand sculpts of this Wolfman version of the figure. He's wearing his khakis with his belt on, and then of course the sculpt of the wolf feet right there. Just looks like a really good figure. I'm gonna keep him as this version of the figure, but just for grins, let's go ahead and take this head off, and we'll put this head on to see what he looks like. We'll pop these off, put that foot in. So you could get two figures, and that's what I was thinking I would do, is get two different figures and have one as Larry Talbot and one, of course, as the Wolfman. I don't know, that would look cool to have them next to each other, but as hard as this one was to find, it's gonna be a while before I get another one. All right, just replacing that, and then of course we can put his cane in his hand, just like this. So that's Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot in the Wolfman. But myself, I like him better as the Wolfman. So I'm gonna go ahead and pose him as that, and we'll be back with my final thoughts. All right, before we get to my final thoughts and review on this figure and how I'm gonna pose him and everything, I did wanna talk about that figure stand that I never got back to. There's a reason for that, and the reason is because when he's got the Wolfman feet on, these feet are very rounded and there's not a lot of surface area, so he can't stand properly on them. So this just increases that surface area and allows him to be able to balance on that foot. So if you wanted to pose him like this, and it looks really good like that. I like using these doll stands more than the figure stands with the peg holes on them. That's just my preference, but it comes with one, so you can use it and have him balance and stand just perfectly fine. All right, I'll be right back with my final thoughts and review. All right, I got the figure posed, how I'm gonna have him displayed, and it's pretty much the same pose that I used when I had him on that little figure stand to show you what that was. But I like using these doll stands because I feel like they give a little bit more stability to the figures, especially when they're in the cabinet, and those cabinets can get bumped from time to time. Just having them in these doll stands keeps them from falling over. The other thing that I added was the cane. I put the cane at his feet because I like the cane. I think the cane is an integral part of the movie, and it just looks cool, in my opinion. The only thing I wish they would have done is give us feet that had shoes on it, or the ability to change these pant legs down at the bottom so they're not rolled up, so they're rolled down and you have shoes on those. Because I would like a Larry Talbot character that doesn't have bare feet. That's just me, to each their own, because I would get another figure and have a Larry Talbot and a Wolfman figure kind of next to each other. That being said, I'm gonna have to give this figure 5 out of 5 Pamela Voorhees heads. I love it. I love all these Universal figures that NECA's coming out with. I can't wait to see what else they're going to come out with, because I just think they're awesome. If you have any thoughts on this review or this figure or anything else, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And also, if you haven't subscribed and you feel so inclined, please go ahead and click that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. We are the Swearwolves, and we have a weekly podcast in which we review horror movies, so if you're into that kind of thing, please check us out by searching for the Swearwolves wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or you can watch the video version of our podcasts here on our YouTube channel. You can also visit our website at theswearwolves.com. So, for the Swearwolves, I'm Bret.